All right. So, first off, I'm cold. Cold as crap. Um, but I wanted to say that there is no way that I can possibly communicate the importance of mental fortitude. So, and the reason why I bring this up is because right now in Texas, it is 30 degrees. Shut up, don't say nothing. It's cold to us, right? Um, but anyway, so I'm leaving the restaurant I was at, and I was shivering and shaking, and I was doing all this. I put my hood on and zipped it up and everything, and I'm sitting there shivering and shaking. And then I noticed I start to feel like a really bad like chest pain. I was like, what the heck? What's going on, right? So I actually end up looking it up and looking up the reason. And one of the reasons was like because sometimes if you shiver and shake so much that can cause chest pains. And so I was like, okay, that's it, because it's not these other things. And so what I did was I was like, okay, fine. Well, I'm not gonna shiver and shake. I'll just be cool, fine. And so it was still cold as hell, but I stopped the shivering and shaking, slowed down my breathing, and not only did my chest pain go away, but also it became less cold or more manageable. And a few things popped into my mind when this happened. Was that one, two. So let me see. We'll cover the one because I switched in my mind as I was talking to the other one. But the second one that I was gonna say is that because one, I think that cold is a lot more manageable when you expect it, right? I don't mentally expect this kind of cold as not cold as you may think it is. I don't expect this kind of cold here in Texas, right? We expect it to be warm, might get around 40s, 50s, but today I think it got as low as like 20, 21. And because of the moisture and the wind, it was, I think at one point they said it's supposed to feel like it's 5. But anyway, whenever, and I thought about this, I was like, man, whenever I visited other states during cold times, I expected it. Now, it didn't change the fact that it was cold as crap, but it was a lot more manageable. Like whenever I went to Chicago, it was freaking cold as crap. It was windy. Also, recently I did a moving job to Idaho, and it was cold as crap, but it was manageable. And I think I forgot that whenever I was walking, it just cold. And so I think that I wanted to share this because it's a perspective that I think could be valuable to many different areas of life. And so the first thing that I wanted to say initially was that none of this would have been triggered without the pain, right? So that's kind of how life goes, is that we have pain, but the growth only comes if we react in the right way. So if I didn't react with the question, like, why am I feeling this pain? And then dive deeper and then see what I can do, then I'd still I'd still be shivering and shaking. And I was only in the early parts of my walk. So if I would have kept shivering and shaking, my chest was starting to really hurt. And this was only after maybe five or so minutes of walking, and I still had like 10 or 15 more minutes of walking to get to my car. And it was just like, you know, and this is just how I react to pain, to resistance. And, you know, I sort of accept it. Now, one thing that I struggle with, just to share it so that it doesn't come off like I'm looking down on the way that you go through pain. One thing that I struggle with is that because I look at every single pain thing as an opportunity for growth. One thing that I struggle with is I struggle with abundance because I've almost developed a relationship with pain. And it's funny, depending upon the pain, of course, sometimes I can find myself laughing almost in a sort of a expectation sort of a laugh, like I knew it had to come eventually, right? Like I was having too good of a time. And that's kind of what that laugh goes through, but comes from. But I hope this perspective is helpful and valuable to you in your journey or what have you. And yeah, you know, I just wanted to share it. Hope you have a good one.